Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on Logistics Executive TV today. I'm joined today by somebody who is an innovator, an industry leader, and someone who is a genuine entrepreneur in the aviation sector. I'm joined by Kush Gadhia, and Kush is the CEO of Astral Aerial Solutions, which is an African-based organization, and they specialize in drone technology and drone services. Kush, thanks for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Kim.
Kush, we have met previously when I've been down in Nairobi, mainly working with a non-for-profit that we help operate down there, and you folks have been exceptionally supportive. Humanitarian operation we run down there, Oasis Africa Australia, which has been running now for nearly 20 years in Kenya, where you're based. Kush, you've got extensive experience in the aviation sector. You've got senior degrees, I think, from the US and elsewhere. You are a pilot, and I want to talk to you a little bit more about that, whether it's drone or standard aviation pilots. And you were very successful in gaining certification to operate drones when they were first regulated in Kenya about 3 or 4 years ago. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Astral Aerial Solutions, about your own career to date, and then I want to ask you some other questions.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that, and yeah, appreciate this opportunity. I do remember when we last met. It was definitely we definitely remember you, and we look forward to having you back in Kenya again. So Astral Aerial Solutions basically was born of the idea of supporting Astral Aviation, which is our sister company, with last mile drone deliveries. That was always a goal to push whereas the cargo aircraft reaches only the airport. We would like to see how drones could then take the cargo onwards onto the last mile. So that was the initial vision of the company, which started around 3 to 4 years ago, as you mentioned. And we were successful in getting the first approval to operate drones in Kenya, although for a separate application. Since then, we've of course had to pivot the company quite a bit and see where the market goes. And we, of course, then delved deeply into the agricultural space, offering drone services to target the desert locust crisis, which happened, 3.5 years ago. We then, launched our training program, which is targeted at the youth, because we saw a chance to have the youth really enter into the drone space quite significantly and push for safe operations to develop our own market here. So from there, we've grown rapidly, and just a few stats for you. We're doing around 3,000 hours per month, with our drone operations. Last year, we were at 10,000 for the whole year. So you can see we're passing those numbers this year already, and we're really looking forward to.
It's a lot of growth, my friend. It's a lot of growth.
It is. We're definitely hoping to pass Astral Aviation soon, and yeah, we are definitely making good flight hours. Got a bigger team now, and really pushing on with that.
Awesome. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about, so you're based in Kenya. Kenya and Nairobi as the capital city of Kenya is a very high growth rate and is seen as a tech and innovation centre for certainly East Africa, if not all of Africa. As you know, I spent a fair bit of time in there. From your perspective, was the growth of the company born from demand from the marketplace for your services, or was it something that you, as a bit of an aviation buff, which runs very deep in your family and across Astral Aviation as the biggest cargo airline in Africa for decades now, was it driven from you or driven from the market?
I think it's a combination of both. After university, I did an aviation business degree. At that time, back in 2016, 2017, we were seeing drones emerge as technology, and quickly decided that there's a huge potential, to operate drones in Kenya for good, and have an impact in our own market here. At the time, we didn't have regulations in Kenya, drone regulations, that is, and it was rough in that we did get regulations. They were annulled, and then they came back again. So we had this initial turmoil in the beginning where the regulation wasn't ready for the industry. From there, we definitely saw quick adoption, and then slow progress and then quick growth, towards where we are now. Of course, initially, having to explain to the clients, what is it that we're doing, what is drones, and how, how can we be fully legal in our operation. So that initial period did take some time, but since our government and our civil aviation authorities are quite proactive, we find that the growth has definitely improved, and they're allowing more and more applications, where we find ourselves today doing far greater things than we were doing before.
Fantastic. Yeah, even just noting some of the media releases that I've seen on LinkedIn over the last 6 to 12 months has been very impressive growth. Tell me a little bit about some of the sectors that you operate in. We've talked to various people that operate drones around the world, licensed operators. But this is the first interview that we've done, so we're very pleased to have you on. Tell us about the sectors and where the main growth is, both from an industry perspective and where you folks are looking to supply the demand.
Sure. So at the moment, we're operating on large acre farms. We know whether it's a crop spraying and your imagery, your mapping and survey of the farms, to surveillance and 24-hour security services that we offer. So between those two, we find ourselves, in the agricultural space at the moment, but solving two different needs. One is the application of pesticides and the acquisition of data on the farm, to surveillance to protect the large acre farms from potential intrusions, and the like. So that combination is where we find ourselves today, and it's we've made good progress on that side. But as we are part of, our sister company is a cargo airline, we have made good progress into drone deliveries as well. We finally got our approval, which is a beyond visual line of sight approval, to test out technology to make the deliveries a reality, as the first Kenyan company to get that done. And we are now progressing into that space, and we're already doing some tests in certain parts of Kenya, which is a sneak peek into what we're up to and some of the latest bit of information we have. So it is going well, and we find ourselves definitely dipping our toes onto that side of the industry more and more. And with the right partnerships, which we do have in place now, we're making that a reality. So definitely looking forward to see where that side goes.
Brilliant. Now, I noticed on the website there's quite a few more people there this year than when I looked last year. You folks have got a big reputation for growing homegrown talent. I know that both yourselves and Astral Aviation are great supporters of youth and bringing through people onto on the supply chain of pipeline of talent through from educational institutions in Kenya. And as we know, Kenyans by and large are extremely highly educated as a population versus many other countries around the world. And I know from my time in Australia that certainly all the Kenyans there were at least 1 or 2 degrees, and some of them 3 degrees. Where do you think there's a matter of interest, just stepping outside the box there? Where is this driven desire by Kenyan youth to be attaining all these educational attainments?
I think it's just a drive to be, to have more information, to have, all the degrees possible, and a hunger for knowledge, I think is a big thing here. And I think a strong education system plays the initial element of starting all of that off. So as part of Astral Aerial, we do have a training department, as I mentioned earlier. And this training department is really targeted at the youth and women in aviation, where we have certain discounts to support the youth. And through that, we've employed, our own staff. We train them, everybody in-house, and we've got a team of 25 pilots now, and that's quite a strong workforce from where we were before. And yeah, we're quite excited that we keep employing, and I think it's a good drive to have, that we are providing employment to our economy and having that benefit to the youth here.
It's great to see. And of course, as well as, 25 pilots is damn impressive. As well as that, of course, I know you've got a very strong technical team as well. So you're doing developments. Talk to us a little bit about what the developments are like with drones in the industry per se. What's the evolution of technology been like for the audience who, like myself, know very little about drones in terms of the technical side?
Yeah, so I think what everyone is familiar with are the little drones used for photography. We use variants of those on a much more enterprise level, pieces of equipment with with the different sensors on the front of them, and quite they're quite good at the moment. But where we see the technology going is onto better battery technology, longer flight times, and better cameras at the end of the day. And we do see some progress in that space. However, we need to always be conscious of the cost. We find that once the drones start having better flight times, the cost of the drone is exponentially higher. So we are definitely looking into technology that could potentially impact our business with better flight times and better cameras on board. So as part of our growth in that sort of space is that we've now integrated in-house maintenance of our own equipment. And this is beneficial to us doing those those several thousands of hours. The equipment does get tired, so rather than having to send the equipment abroad, we now keep that in-house.
Do you see, Kush, the development of an industry, given Kenya and Nairobi as a tech center in particular for, as I said, certainly East and Central Africa? Do you see the opportunity there for manufacturing for drone technology and aviation technology in Nairobi, or is everything produced offshore still?
Yeah, I think majority of it is still produced offshore. However, we do see certain incentives to start bringing in manufacturers into the country. I think as a country, we definitely need more investment in the manufacturing space for high tech industry, such as drones and that sort of stuff. So we do see a big potential for it, but it will require investment and big expertise to come in from outside. Of course, train everybody here, and then if for it to become fully homegrown. I think it is a potential, but we definitely see it over the next couple of years that it will happen for sure.
Well, having known you for some time, and also the folks at Astral Aviation, I suspect I suspect you're going to be at the front end of that development of the manufacturing to be done. So we'll be watching that space, and again a shout out to everybody at Astral Aviation, the biggest cargo airline in Africa, and they do a lot of carrying for a lot of the mainline carriers around the world, and a very proud history of humanitarian support for not only Kenya but right across Africa. That's Astral Aviation, and of course you folks at Astral Aerial Solutions. Kush, it's been fantastic talking to you and seeing you again. I'll definitely be taking you up on that offer of visiting. You've got a fantastic site there. I know head office. I've been there at Nairobi at the airport there, the international airport. You're right on the close to the ramp. And again, just a shout out for the support that Astral has been providing to Oasis Africa over the last 20 years, both in terms of support on the ground and carrying and clearing and importing a lot of the equipment, technology equipment, which has been donated mainly by Maersk here in the Middle East, in the IMEA region in Dubai. There have been several trips down there where the laptops have been provided, and Astral Aviation and Astral Aerial Solutions have been great supporters of providing that technology into the kids, of course, into Kibera slum, which is one of the biggest slums in the world, 4 million people and a couple of square miles, and also right across area education is supporting the 8,000 kids that we've developed into various education institutions over the last 20 years. Okay, so by the time we launch this, people will be able to get hold of you on LinkedIn, of course, as well, yeah?
Yep, definitely.
Okay, Kush Gadhia, CEO of Astral Aerial Solutions there in Nairobi. Thanks so much for joining us, and good luck with the developments. We look forward to keeping updated with your technology and the growth of the company.
Thank you so much.